What do sarcastic troll doctors, disfigured giant ants, and a jackal assassin disguised as a public health official have in common? Well, they're all just part of the daily grind in Dripping Fang Forest. True, it's never exactly been your wholesome family community, but this time around, something even more sordid than usual is afoot. Not to mention the fact that after the gang got a little pyromaniacal at the Mandibles place, nothing is as it should be with our Schluffmuffin family heroes. Wally has suddenly turned into an eternal optimist. Vampire Dad wants to give the twins up for adoption, and Cheyenne has been acting awfully hypnotized lately. Meanwhile, everyone in downtown Cincinnati is snotting and snuffling from a mysterious and deadly flu virus, and huge ant larvae are quietly and secretly gaining strength underground. Then, when all seems lost, a suspicious stranger with a syringe shows up to give Wally a free vaccination. Now, there couldn't possibly be anything wrong with that picture, could there? Hi, I'm Nova.
And I'm Rachel,
Welcome to Novel Nostalgia.
where we talk about the books that make us nostalgic.
So this is book 5. And it's called The Schluffmuffin Boy's History. And I did write down that there is a slight trigger warning of suicide.
Oh no.
So be prepared for that one. I don't remember exactly where it is, but that is going to be in this one. It's very brief, but want to preface that. It just come up.
Isn't it preface?
I don't know. Maybe?
I think it's preface.
Probably.
This is one of those, like, when you only read it in a book and now you're no longer sure.
Preface. Yeah.
Is it preface?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Yep. I know how to word.
You know.
Look, I learned the actual pronunciations of some words, and then I forget the ones of others.
It's fine. I mean, why would it be spelled preface if it's not, honestly?
Right? Oh my god.
It's like, I just found out pre-Madonna is not correct. It's prima-donna. Like Prima, Madonna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh gosh. I learned a couple years ago that we were being taught Appalachian Mountains for years, like Appalachian. It's Appalachian.
I didn't know that either until like TikTok.
I think I heard it around college and I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then I met someone from like Tennessee, I think. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, it's actually that. And I was like, okay. I'm like, kind of cooler anyway, not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. And then I looked it up, and if you listen to the pronunciation on Google, it's Appalachian. And I'm like,
wild.
See, that's why I had to unlearn preface to learn that one. Mm-hmm. So it happened. Okay. So we start off. Cheyenne is sick. Very sick.
Scary.
A troll doctor, the doctor is a troll, has taken her temperature, and it's 106.
Isn't that like past the point of like you're dying now?
I think it's pretty...
I think 104 you start hallucinating. Right?
Temperature is 106. I'm Googling. Indicates hyperpyrexia. What is that?
I don't know.
Any fever above 103 should be immediately treated in the ER.
Yeah.
It's a medical emergency. Hyperpyrexia.
Mhm.
It's considered to be a medical emergency. If left untreated, organ damage and death can occur.
Mm.
Causes infection can cause it. Exposure to some anesthetic drugs can cause it.
Interesting.
Interesting. And some other drugs can do it. Heat stroke, thyroid storm. Um, and it says sponging or bathing in cool water can help bring down your body temperature. Ice packs, blowing cool air, or spraying with cool water may also help. Any tight or extra clothing should be removed. Um, okay. If it's due to infection, your doctor will identify the cause. They'll then give you the proper drug to treat it.
So she should be in the ER is basically what we're learning.
Yeah, yeah. She's not doing too good. They should be putting her in a bathtub. She should be in the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's worried, and their dad lies to her saying he's had a temperature of 120 before, and that she'll kick it in no time. I'm sure
Mm.
120, you're probably going to be dead at that
Yeah.
point. um, so the troll charges $200 for the visit,
Okay.
100 for the visit. The other 100 is for making him climb stairs.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like,
Mood.
can I do that when I go places? I'd be
5.
like, this is a stair fee for making me climb stairs. Wally, Dad, Edgar, and Shirley ask the prognosis, and the doctor says she will live to at least lunch, but they may want a funeral home standing by.
Mm.
And they're like, oh.
Okay.
So they all agree that the fever is fine,
Mm-hmm.
but the coughing up blood is the bad part,
I don't think the fever is fine, actually, or the coughing up blood. Not gonna lie to
right?
you.
I think it was fine, as in like you can get the fever down, like put them in the
Mm-hmm.
cold water. But you can't really do much for the coughing up blood besides, go to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Here you have it, folks. This is our medical advice.
Yeah. Welcome
if
to
you
our
should be
medical
taking,
podcast. Go to
if
the
you should be
hospital.
taking medical advice from us, go to the hospital.
Yeah, ambulances are expensive, but still go to the hospital if you're coughing up
Right?
blood.
I mean, the hospital is too, but like, if you're not in America, you won't understand this conversation.
Literally.
Bless you all outside.
Yeah. Must be nice to have universal health care.
Right? Not have to worry about going to the hospital will make you lose your entire life from
Lose your
bankruptcy.
home.
All right. I have a car now for collateral.
Woo!
Woo! I own that car. Actually, I'm paying it. Like, by the time this episode will go up, it'll be paid. This
Woo!
moment it is not paid, but I will own it. There. I can throw that up for like,
Woo! Collateral.
yeah, I need a loan to pay my medical bills. Here's my car.
Yeah, the car I own is only worth $3,500. So
Ugh. Mine's about 12 grand
yeah, because
right
my
now.
car's a 2003.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a good car though. So
Yeah, there you go. As long as it works, right?
yeah.
So Wally decides he's going to be more optimistic. Because I don't know why these are backwards. So all four of them pledge something different to they're like praying to God and being like, God, if you let her live, this is what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
So Wally is going to be an optimist.
Mm.
He is all negative. He's like, if she lives, I will see the good in everything.
Sure.
Dad says he won't drink any blood and he will allow the kids to be adopted by Shirley and Edgar.
Sure.
Shirley says she will return the kids to their dad.
Mm-hmm.
And Edgar says he will let Dad sleep in the house.
Nice.
Wild. So Hortense calls asking for updates um, and say that they're holding a candlelight vigil for Cheyenne at the orphanage.
Okay.
She makes the kids sing a song to Cheyenne, but it's only being told to Shirley because Cheyenne can't come down to the phone. So they're singing a song to Cheyenne to Shirley.
Is this. Oh, this is pre mobile phones?
Yeah, this was like early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
So it was like most everybody usually had like a landline
But like
versus
early 2000s, I mean, I didn't have a landline with a wire.
I did.
No, I didn't.
We
Once
did.
we.
About mid early 2000s, we got like a one that was
Well,
wireless. Now like my parents still have the corded phone, but like they use the wireless ones.
mhm. I think we moved to Florida in 2006 or 7, and we didn't have a mobile phone. Like, we didn't have a home phone that was wired since then. But I don't remember what we had. We might have had a wired one in when we lived in Michigan. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I think my parents had cell phones at that point.
Where I was anyway, like where we lived, there was very minimal coverage, so like no one had it around that time.
Yeah.
Like they were starting to get some, but like it was still like it was hit or miss or if your cell would even work half the time.
Yeah.
So landlines were like still major. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I got a cell phone. They had to have had cell phones at that point because I got a cell phone in, because my parents had cell phones in Michigan for sure. And I got one when I was in like seventh grade, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I believe they probably have them, but like it was probably more common. It was like in that period where it was still more common to have like the landline.
I feel like most people use cell phones for work at that point too.
Yeah, it was much more like a work thing than like a this is my phone. Your personal was still kind of like the landline.
Hmm.
Now we're kind of like the opposite way of you don't really have a landline. It's all cells.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like in that time still of
Yeah.
like I think they used the payphone in this at some point too.
Yeah.
You don't see those much anymore.
I don't think we even have payphones.
I've seen a few here and there. I see them more like still in cities.
Yeah.
Like they're not as common, but like you find one every once in a while.
I think it's because our city here has too much like of a drug problem to have payphones. Yeah.
They're using the payphones.
Yeah. Like, I just know it would be a bad
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So then after the song is done, Hortense asks Shirley for $1,200 for the kids because she's like, "Well, you're adopting the kids, so we need the money." And then asks if the orphans can have Cheyenne's clothes if she dies
What? Also, they're not even at the orphanage, so why would they pay the orphanage?
to adopt them.
Yeah, they're
They're
not.
still technically in the orphanage's care.
No, I mean, are they? Because they went to the ants. The ants already paid for them, and then they never really went back.
I think it goes to if the adoptive family you're with can't
Hmm.
take you, you go back to the
Yep.
state.
But I don't
So
think they ever go
technically,
back.
they would be back to the orphanage care. Also, she just wants money, so like logistics
Yeah.
don't really matter. um, so the Aunt Queen is questioning Hetty about what happened, and Hetty says that Cheyenne has been hypnotized and can be useful, but now they will have to kill Wally.
Mm, okay.
Um, and the reason being is because they're twins, they'll have their own language, and they can't have Wally interrupting Cheyenne.
Okay.
Yeah. The Aunt Queen is like, I want to do this correct. We're going to send the army to kill him. And Hetty is,
Army.
yeah,
Okay.
they weren't the only ants.
I mean, it's
Hetty's,
fair.
right? Hetty suggests that they should send a trained assassin, the Jackal, to go get him instead.
How do you just like have a trained assassin?
If you're in the business of bad, as you know all of them,
And I guess, but like still wild.
right? So their dad is tending to Cheyenne, and he's placing like ice all around her, like they're icing her.
Mm-hmm.
Shirley is picking up remnants of a thermometer because her temperature was so high it broke. Yeah.
Oh.
So they all go to bed, and when they wake up, Cheyenne is fine. He's like, "What's up? I'm good."
Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you go to sleep though with like a kid possibly dying in your care?
Right? I'd be like practically sleeping on top of her. I'd be passed out from like trying to stay up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to bed and see what happens."
Yeah, alright, best of luck. Don't die in the night. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Right? Oh my god. So all four of them are now struggling with their promises and keeping them. Cheyenne has lived, and they're now like, "Don't know if I can
Yeah,
actually do that." Don't make promises you can't keep.
literally.
So there are worker ants all over the city collecting snot-filled tissues from sick citizens because they sprayed the flu
Nice.
all over the city. And the last one, they're now collecting the snot. So Edgar and Sheldon try and tell each other their promises to give each other the children at the same time. So Edgar and Dad are like, "I'm gonna give you the kid."
Yeah.
Sheldon gets his out first, and Edgar's like, "Okay, I guess I can take the kids." But he struggles accepting that Dad will give up the children to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like having a hard time about it. So Dad tells Wally and Cheyenne that he's gonna let them adopt him. And Cheyenne wonders why he would say such a thing. Dad's the only one like kind of keeping his promise out here so far.
Mm-hmm.
Wally says it must just be being a vampire is messing with his feelings. I don't know how that would really mess with it, but
I don't know. I don't know.
Wally
Okay.
logic, I guess.
Yeah.
So Hortense calls to ask about Cheyenne and how she's doing, and proceeds to ask for her socks.
Hmm.
Okay. So Cheyenne wakes up from a dream to a sign in the window that says, "Would you like to meet the babies, dear?"
Ew.
Cheyenne gets up and goes. Wally wakes up and follows her.
Mm-hmm.
They get to a military like base, and Cheyenne is allowed inside because the Aunt Queen is expecting her.
Hmm.
Wally tries to think positive, saying things like, "Oh, she must be a double agent." He's trying out here.
I mean, fair enough.
So Cheyenne sees Hetty again, and she's like, "Oh, hey," and then is introduced to the Aunt Queen. They tell Cheyenne she is now a double agent. So, Wally wasn't quite wrong.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to tell the aunts about the people that she's with. That's
Hmm.
kind of like the backwards way of what Wally is hoping.
Yeah.
Cheyenne gets back outside where Wally questions her. She remembers nothing. Wally fills her in of like what happened, of how she got out of bed, went with them, went inside, and she's like, "Don't remember a thing." So he tells her he's trying to be more positive, and she's ecstatic about it.
Cute.
So the Jackal has arrived.
Mm.
The Jackal. He meets Hetty, and they chat at a newsstand. She tells him his target is Wally Schluffmuffin. He requires $50K up front in a piggy bank in a locker at the Toledo bus station. That's up front money. 50K.
Dang. I
Once
mean,
the
I guess that's the price of human life.
once the deposit is done, he will go do the assassination, and then he will call and let them know it's done. And then he says you need to forget everything afterwards. Like, this didn't exist, this didn't happen. You have no idea how money got in that locker. Like, it's gone. So Wally and Cheyenne talk about Wally being more positive, and she's like still ecstatic. She's like, yeah, we can be positive together. Okay, apparently that was an entire chapter. It was just them talking about being positive.
Cute.
Cool. Adorable. We love little sibling interactions. So a figure in a black leather trench coat walks into a store. The gnome meets him and says the store is closed. The guy in the trench coat says the door was open and asks for a poison. The gnome says he doesn't sell poisons. The stranger offers him wadded like bricks of $100 bills. Like, he's like big money out
Mm-hmm.
here. The gnome lists off snake and spider venoms, but the stranger wants to go with something new. He decides to go the route of overdosing on insulin.
Okay.
You know, you got like all these like spider snake venoms, and you're gonna be like, I'm just gonna overdose this dude on insulin.
I feel like that's a bit of a process, but sure.
Like, okay. So Wally can't stop thinking about the Aunt Queen's cave and what was happening in there. He knows that they have some sort of control over Cheyenne, and he heads out to check on the cave, where he finds a different entrance and drops inside. He gets he gets scared by bats in this cave,
Same.
and then tells himself he's not allowed to because his dad is a vampire.
We love the support, we love the vibe.
He's like, I'm not allowed to be scared of bats no more.
That's funny.
He falls into a smooth tunnel. He follows the tunnels and finds the nursery, where a worker sees him. Wally runs, and he hides in a room that is marked dairy, where he locks the door and the workers have to go find a key.
Okay.
So they are milking giant aphids, because ants will use the fluids kind of like how humans use cow milk for nutrition. So dairy is
Interesting.
their own kind of version of cows, in a way. So he's yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, I
I'm
guess.
like, I had to read that chapter a couple times, not gonna lie, because I was like, did I just read this correctly? Like, what is
What's
happening
an
here?
what is an aphid? Aphid?
It is like a little bug. They're like really tiny. Let me
So it's like they're milking them, you said?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, not like how you'd milk a cow, like they're basically sucking fluids out of them. Because
Oh.
I guess like
Do
ants
ants eat those?
actually, yeah,
Okay.
like will suck it. So okay, I'm discording it to you right now. So yeah, they're basically like,
Mm. Ugh, okay.
they're really, really small. So
Ugh.
yeah, yeah. So I
You
guess
no.
ants will like suck fluids out of them in
Mm-hmm.
a way that's very similar to how like we will like milk a cow and drink the cow milk, or like anything that
Okay.
kind of milk. So they've made like a basically a milking station.
Okay. Fair enough, I guess.
So he searches for another way out, having to go right through like the aphids. He's like, oh my god. So he exits out a back door and hears an aunt talking to the queen about humans endangering colonies with coal mines and subways. Where she locates a colony in Queens had to relocate. Like, this isn't their only colony. Like, they're
Mm-hmm.
now talking about like New York had to
Yeah.
relocate. The queen is like, Why are you still talking to them? I ordered you not to about the other colony.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And then they say any humans that resist slavery will be killed. So Wally is like, "Mm." He climbs into an air duct, and the workers come in behind him. He reaches a grate that is screwed by screws on the outside. So he's got to like reach up through the gate and use his screwdriver to pull the screws out.
He has a screwdriver?
Yeah, he's got like one of those Swiss Army pocket knives
Oh, cute.
he
Okay.
like had in the first one.
I guess I
That he
forgot
used.
that.
Yeah, he used it to take the bars off the windows at the aunt's house.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
So he uses that. He gets the third screw loose, and a worker grabs him.
Mm.
So he kicks it in the face and tries to get the last screw out. It is rusted, so he just slams against the grate, kicking the workers free as he slips out and runs. I'm like, as long as it's not too tight, screws obviously turn.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not too tight, you can just like twist it if it's only one left.
Yeah.
But it was rusted, so he just broke it. So
Vibe.
either works.
Whatever works. We gotta get out of there.
Right? Like, gotta go. So Cheyenne and Shirley have a chat. Cheyenne gets way too excited when Shirley says that the venom she has could wipe out an entire continent. Yeah.
Oh.
Cheyenne's like, oh my god, that's so cool. Because Cheyenne's positive about everything.
Literally. What a moron.
Shirley accidentally uses the words to hypnotize Cheyenne. Whatever her words are to hypnotize, she says it. So, um, Wally comes flying back on a tear. And he's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So Shirley gives him a candy bar and is like, I gotta go to the store, eat this candy bar, calm down, I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
The doorbell rings. Someone in surgical scrubs is at the door, says he is Dr. Black from the CDC and has to give Wally a shot. And Wally, like, doesn't question it because he's
What?
like, I'm trying to be positive. What would they do that was going to hurt me?
What?
Yeah.
No.
So the guy gives him a shot. Wally starts feeling weird and passes out.
Nice. Yeah, obviously.
The doctor says the package has been delivered and the deposit needs to be delivered. So he's like, killed the boy, give me the rest of my money.
Mm-hmm.
So Sheldon debates on taking back his agreement to give the kids to the Spidels. He sees Wally on the lawn. Wally was like cold and lifeless. Sheldon doesn't know CPR. He tries to call 911 and it doesn't go through. So he finds Cheyenne. Cheyenne's hypnotized. She's like conked out as well. So with both kids dead, he decides that he's going to go commit vampire suicide. And
Oh.
this is the suicide part. Yeah. He drives a stake into his chest.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
To kill himself because vampire.
uh, okay.
So Wally is alive. He realized from memorizing the encyclopedias, because that's how they were doing their schooling, that he was having insulin shock. So he had put the chocolate bar that Shirley had given him in his pocket. So he like dragged it up to his mouth and started eating it. So he ate the chocolate bar after he
Mm-hmm.
got the insulin. So that kind of
Evens it out.
yeah, it kind of he starts getting his blood sugar up so the insulin starts working how it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
He essentially gets himself up. So Cheyenne was woken up by the wake up Cheyenne that her father yelled. So she screamed as she came to. So Wally hears it and crawls over to her. And they find their dad on the floor with a stake in his heart. They deduce that he thought they were dead. So Shirley returns about this time and screams when she sees Dad on the floor dead. Uh, Edgar comes home and he tells them all what he had wished for, and that he was too cowardly to tell Sheldon that he should have his own kids. So the four of them are like, "What do we do with his body?" They kind of like leave him in the room, go elsewhere, and are trying to
Mhm.
figure out what to do with him at this point. So Sheldon's alive because the wooden stake was plastic.
Okay.
It wasn't a wooden stake; it was plastic. So he decides he needs a gun and silver bullets. So he gets up, he steals the Spidell van with them like all in the other room, like kids are alive, fine, and goes to the gun store. Uh,
Like when they say that like video games are making kids aggressive.
yeah,
This is so much worse. But okay.
right? It's like, here you go. So a large procession of worker ants, aunts, are making their way through the forest, disturbing the wolves and the 10-foot slug. They are carrying
Burlap.
burlap sacks. I don't know why I couldn't say that. We just had this conversation on how to can't pronounce things. It's fine.
It's fine.
They're filled with snotty tissues, and they said that
Nice.
Cincinnati was ankle deep in phlegm.
Nice.
So Ralphie, the store owner, questions if Sheldon has ever gone to prison. He is like, as Sheldon's talking to him about buying a gun, he's like, this guy's got a hole in his chest from the stake.
Mm.
He's kind of like, okay. So Sheldon buys one silver bullet and a gun. About this time, Wally notices that Sheldon is gone. They wonder who would steal a body.
Hmm.
So Wally's like, maybe it's a ghoul. And Edgar's like, nah, the only ghouls that live here are the Boscos, and they're currently on holiday in Italy.
Yeah.
So it's
Like a
not
ghoul
them.
would be.
So it's clearly not them. So Wally suggests he must have recovered, and Cheyenne is pleased that he's being positive. They notice that the van is gone, and Edgar's like, oh, we can GPS track it. Let's find where the van is.
Casually.
So none of them is afraid to confront the thief that stole Sheldon's body in the van, because they've gone back to like, instead of he recovered, someone came in, took the body, put it in the van, left.
Hmm.
Their logic is wild.
Yeah. Love that.
So they find where it has been stopped and head for it. They
Hmm.
look at the GPS and they're like, all right, let's go. So Sheldon, at this time, he shoots himself
Oh.
and he's still alive. So he goes back to Ralphie and he's like, seriously, you sold me a fake bullet? Like, I bought silver bullet and I'm alive.
Yeah.
Ralphie says it was silver plated, not silver, because silver is too soft to be a full bullet.
Hmm.
And Dad's like, ugh. So he's like, can I just like have a long drop into water instead? Like, is that a thing? Do you know where I can just like yeet off a bridge? So Ralphie's like, yeah, you can go this way. Tells him where to go.
Like, is he not concerned? Like the store guy?
I feel like he's just like, I think it's if I'm correct, I think it's the same guy as the guy that the jackal bought the insulin from.
There's
So like
one
he just
guy in town.
yeah, he just don't care. He's like, whatever,
Okay.
you do your thing. So Wally, Shirley, Edgar, and Cheyenne close in on the GPS signal when it disappears. And they find themselves at Ralphie's. So they walk in and they're like, hey, do you know about the van? And Ralphie
Hmm.
describes Sheldon, and they're like, oh yeah, that's him. And he's
Hmm.
like, oh, he was headed to this bridge. So they're like, oh my god, we gotta go. So they go to go get it. Dad climbs the bridge all the way to the top, and Edgar drives into oncoming traffic to reach him as quick as possible. He's going the
Fair
wrong
enough.
way.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So So they call out to Sheldon, who starts to come down, then slips and falls and gets stuck on the bridge. Yeah. Nothing's
Okay.
ever easy in this. So the four begin their climb up, terrified of heights and the bridge swaying. Because obviously,
Mhm.
it's like one of those huge bridges.
Mhm.
And they're built to kind of sway so they don't
Yeah.
break. So they're trying to climb this thing as it's, swaying. It's
No.
huge.
No.
So Sheldon is struggling. He says he never wanted the kids to be adopted. Wally and
Mhm.
Cheyenne say that they loved him more and only said they didn't want to. They only said they didn't love him so they would save Edgar's life. Sheldon slips and falls 10 feet down. Wally asks for silk from Shirley, who spins spider silk for the two kids to drop down to their dad. So she's like holding them and they're dropping.
Mhm.
They drop 30 feet down and Shirley raises them up to their dad. She accidentally drops a little too far and then raises them
Cute.
back up. So they grab their dad and she lowers the three of them to the ground. So the jackal goes to see the Aunt Queen and he's like, I didn't get my second deposit. What the hell is this?
Mhm.
The queen is like, because Wally isn't dead.
Mhm.
So she's like, I'm giving you one more week to kill him.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay. So Wally tells Cheyenne that the Aunt Queen tried to kill him because he learned of their plan to enslave humanity, and they agree that they need to beat them once and for all.
Mhm.
So that's the end of book 5. So the next one is the 6th in the series, and it is called Attack of the Giant Octopus.
Cute.
So, have you ever wondered what a human kid looks like when genetically crossed with evil giant ant larva? Hint, it ain't pretty. Or
Mm.
perhaps you've pondered how a 400-pound killer octopus might best attack its prey. If you've answered yes to either of these questions, you're in luck. This new spine-tingling tale in the Secrets of Dripping Fang series finds Cheyenne Schluffmuffin, under hypnosis of course, preparing to give etiquette lessons to a class of rowdy human ant mutants. Hey, even freaks of nature need to learn to mind their manners. Meanwhile, her twin, Wally, is being forced to get to know our killer octopus pal a little better. Where is Vampire Dad during all of this, you ask? Preoccupied with a difficult job search. Apparently, finding work as an orthodontist when you have long fang teeth and huge black wings isn't so easy these days. Go figure.
Amazing.
I love how the summaries are always just as wild as the books.
Yeah.
It's like
Trying
okay,
to figure out
okay.
if I missed the fact that he used to be an orthodontist, and if so, how did he die in a porta potty? You know.
I don't know if it was ever really mentioned, honestly.
Mhm.
Um that I can remember anyway.
Yeah.
If it was, I didn't write it down in my notes, so that one would be on me.
It's fine.
I think it was
It
like
don't
he
matter.
fell in the porta potty at the fair or something. If I remember a fair, maybe that was their mom.
I don't remember how the mom died, to be honest.
The mom was the bunnies.
Oh,
Got attacked
yeah.
by a bunch of bunnies. So I'm like, maybe that was the fair.
Yeah. I don't know. Wild.
So not sure. Um, so we hop right back in with the jackal, the assassin,
Nice.
who is following a man into the Horace Hotchkiss Aquarium. The man's name is Sledge, and he handles the dangerous animals. The jackal asks to have a friend dive in with the giant octopus, and Sledge is like, no, because it will kill the friend.
Mhm.
Jackal says Wally Schluffmuffin can handle it. Plus, the reality show he's working for will pay big money, especially if he dies. So, if he dies, you get money. So,
Okay.
what's the problem? So, Jackal offers Sledge a briefcase full of money. And Sledge is like, okay, the back door will be open, but we never talked. He's like, covering my own butt here. I never
Yeah.
talked to you. You never talked to me. The door's open. So Hetty relays the plan to the Aunt Queen, who says if it's unsuccessful, Hetty will pay for it. So she's like, I'm
Okay.
tired of this kid. If it doesn't
Why
work.
is why is this dude taking these kids out in the most like strange, not functional ways ever?
I know, right? Like, if you're an assassin, why wouldn't you just be like, knock, knock. Oh, you answered your door? Boom. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I'm an assassin, I'm not going to go, like, around all these weird things. I'm going to do what's going to work and work well and just get it over with.
Mhm. Literally.
Not, dump them into a giant octopus tank. Like, okay.
Literally.
So a worker aunt arrives and says that they have a problem, that the human DNA in the snot has produced mutations in the babies, and they are now half aunt, half human. The worker
Okay.
brings in Betsy, who calls the queen Queenie, and when the queen gets offended, Betsy calls her Fatso.
Oh, okay. What?
So the worker says all of them are like this, and some are even worse. So they're like, yeah, we need to go get Cheyenne to teach them how to be polite because they all
Mhm.
seem to idolize human girls. So they're like,
Hmm.
we need the girl to teach these babies manners because, calling your queen Fatso is obviously the
Mm.
best manners you can have.
Yeah, apparently. Jeez.
Right? So Hortense calls Shirley in the middle of the night
Hmm.
asking for the check for the children. She's like, where's my check? So Shirley says they aren't adopting them because they're going back to their father. And
Hmm.
Hortense goes, well, would he pay the fee?
No, you weirdo.
Right? Why is he going to pay the fee for his own children? Shirley says that she assumes no because he's their dad.
Hmm.
So Hortense calls the Child Welfare Bureau on the Spidels, saying that the children are having to live with spiders and vampires. Yeah, Hortense is like, And it is
Okay.
revealed that Hortense doesn't actually like kids. She runs an orphanage with like 30 something
Yeah.
of them.
I mean, I think we figured that out pretty quickly, but
She likes money, not kids.
yeah.
So Wally is drowning. Not really. He's just holding his breath underwater in the bathtub. And Cheyenne is like, are you going to be done anytime soon? You've been in there an hour.
Hmm.
And he was just testing out his waterproof watch.
Okay.
Yeah. So a woman comes to chat with Sheldon about the children. He tells her everything that he and his wife died, they were at an orphanage, adopted by giant ants, etc. And the woman's just like, whatever. He needs a job, and the kids need to be enrolled in school in 2 weeks, or else they were going to take them back to the orphanage. So she's like, don't really give a crap about like your history. Just you need a job, they need to be in school. You can have them, if
Hmm.
so. So Hetty brings Cheyenne to the mutant babies, and Betsy calls Cheyenne ugly.
Mm.
Hetty says she's there to teach them about humans, and so Cheyenne's like, "Hey, what do you want to know?" And Betsy wants to know the most exciting way to kill them.
Um. Okay. Sure.
Out of everything you can know about humans, she's just like, "How do I kill you in the most exciting way?"
No red flags.
I think she needs to talk to the jackal, not Cheyenne.
Literally. He seems to be having that pretty down pat. Except he's
Right?
not. His success rate it seems to be pretty low.
Yeah, he's having a really bad success rate.
Hmm.
But he's creative, so
He'll
maybe
get
Betsy
there.
could do it better. She'll be the assassin now.
There you go.
So Wally asks where Cheyenne's been, and Cheyenne doesn't remember. So Wally is like, I'm going to the next time.
Mhm.
So Edgar is completely butthurt that the kids love their dad more than him.
Well, I mean, it be like that sometimes.
Right? So Wally asks for help making a pheromone to dispel the aunts in the cave when he goes in. And
Mhm.
at first, Edgar is like cranky and disagrees. But Wally is then like, I am a child. Please help me. So Dad takes Wally and Cheyenne to interview at Dripping Fang Forest Country Days School. Wally is like, why? Why do we have to
Mhm.
go to school? And so Dad is like, oh, well, you'll be taken back if you don't go to school. And Cheyenne is like, well, Jolly Days wasn't so bad.
I'm dead.
So Wally becomes really negative about the whole situation.
Mhm.
So a troll receptionist pronounces their name Stuff Muffin.
I mean, it's close.
Close
So,
enough, right? You know?
yeah, it's
The
fine.
headmaster has antlers growing from his forehead, and
Nice.
he's trying to say that the kids are too normal to be there, but as gently as he can without discriminating them. So Dad shows off his wings and says the kids are just like him, and so they're accepted
Yeah.
into the school.
Okay. Sure.
Right? He's like, they love vampire kids, it's fine. So they go to school
Mhm.
in their new school uniforms, and it's just one big classroom. And it has 6 wolf cubs, 2
Aw.
trolls, a 3-foot slug, a ghoul, and a boy with eye stalks. It's like big,
It's an
like,
eye stalk.
yeah. So instead of his eyes
Oh,
being like in his head, they're
yeah.
like big, like stalks and then eyes.
Okay.
The teacher has a beak, and she calls them stud puppet.
This gets better and
No
better.
one can pronounce their name. So they say they have a vampire dad and a dead mom, but live with Shirley, a giant spider. And a wolf pup asks if their dad is actually a vampire, and he gets in an insulting war with Wally. So they're like insulting each other back and forth.
Mhm.
So they get asked if they're actually vampires. And Cheyenne says if they keep bugging them, they will find out, and she growls at them. The
Nice.
wolf steps back and calls them freaks.
Okay.
Right? It's like, okay. So the jackal is watching the giant octopus and wonders if Wally should be unconscious or conscious when going in the tank. If you're an assassin, you probably should make him unconscious. I mean,
That's what I would
just
suggest.
my unprofessional opinion.
Mhm.
So Sheldon tries to get a job as an orthodontist, and he's unable to because of his fangs. So he's like, okay, I'll go file them down. And so he uses a belt sander to file down the
No.
fangs.
No. Oh, no. No, no.
Yeah.
I hate that.
So he goes back for the job, but his teeth have grown back. Like in
Mm,
the time he went home, filed his teeth down, went back, they've grown back. So the woman
mm,
pretends to answer a call saying that the job is filled. So then he tries for a janitor job. He's like, whatever, I can be your janitor instead.
mhm,
He seems to get it, and then the woman sees his wings and he doesn't get it.
mm,
I'm like, okay. So the aunts come for Cheyenne again, and Wally immediately breaks her trance, so she's not hypnotized this time, but
mhm,
tells her to pretend like it. She's like,
mm.
how the heck am I supposed to do that? I don't know what I'm like when I'm hypnotized.
Yeah.
So she goes ahead as he goes to get the pheromones from Edgar. Shirley offers to come along, but Wally says it'll be easier with just the two of them. So he follows behind Cheyenne and realizes that they likely made a mistake because how are you supposed to know what you are like when you're in a trance? He's like, oh, didn't think this one through. But it's now too late to go back on their plan because Cheyenne is inside.
Yeah.
So Cheyenne realizes there are army ants. There's like a whole army in here, and she's like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
god. So Wally sprays the guards, expecting them to drop, but they don't. They want to hug him. So instead of them being like, oh, you need to get out of here, we're gonna kill you, they're like, buddy, do you want a hug?
Oh no.
So he keeps spraying the aunts, all of which now want hugs from him. And I'm like, well, could be worse. They could
Yeah.
still be trying to kill you.
I mean, you could use that to your advantage, I think.
Right? So the mutant babies want to know why Cheyenne would help betray other humans. And Hetty says that she's hypnotized, and Betsy doesn't believe it. All the kids spit in a cup and make Cheyenne drink it. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So Cheyenne is like having to fake like not tasting it as she's drinking this like cup of spit.
No.
Yeah.
Ew.
So Betsy still doesn't believe it and wants to bite Cheyenne to prove it. So Cheyenne is like, okay. So she holds still, perfectly still, as Betsy bites her. And like acts like it doesn't hurt. Which, like, girl, good for you for holding still. And Hetty gets absolutely pissed because Betsy drew blood when she bit her. She's like, seriously, you could have bit her and like not drawn blood? Like, what's your problem? So Hetty passes Cheyenne off to her escort, who takes her the wrong way home. Takes her right into a car. The Jackal takes her into Cincinnati.
Oh no.
He's offended when she hasn't heard of him and ends up arguing with her about how many continents there are in the world. They have an argument about, yeah. So he calls Wally in the morning, telling him to come to the aquarium if he wants his sister.
I mean, okay.
Okay.
Smartest thing he's done so far, truly.
All right, like hostage situation. Excellent. So Wally discusses it with Shirley, Edgar, and Dad about what to do. They all offer suggestions, but Wally thinks it's best if he goes alone.
No, but okay.
Right? So he goes into the aquarium where the Jackal chloroforms him. Sledge was watching and can't decide if he wants to interfere for being lied to or just let it play out.
Terrible person, but all right.
Right? So Wally wakes the minute he hits the water. He thinks a snake has grabbed him but realizes it's an octopus. The Jackal pulls out a camcorder to record. Like the whole situation. And the octopus is like, this is a child. Still will be tasty. It's fine.
I'm dead.
So Wally saws the tentacle holding him off. Like using his little Swiss Army knife. Takes the saw out, saws off the tentacle. But he is grabbed by another tentacle. This one he drops his knife. So Sheldon sees it's been 11 minutes and decides to wait 4 more minutes because he ends up dropping off Wally and is like, I'm giving you 15 minutes. So it gets to 11 and he's like, do I wait the other 4 or do I just go in at 11? Dad problems, I guess. So the octopus releases ink, which Sledge realizes this could kill the octopus because like the tank is small enough that like the ink will just like basically clog the water. So he starts running a hose into the tank because he's like, gotta get the ink out.
Yeah.
So Wally manages to get to the edge of the tank, and the jackal goes to intercept. Wally kicks free of the tentacle and gets out, and Dad threatens the jackal, who tells him where Cheyenne is, in a locker at a bus station. Sledge throws his spear at Dad. He's just like, what the
Oh,
heck is going on? Because vampire just flew in here. Came in. Now this vampire. So he lets go of the jackal to snap the spear out of his body and face Sledge. Like, he just breaks it off. And he turns and faces the
cute.
guy. And Sledge is like, whoops. My bad.
What a terrible assassin Jackal is, though.
Right? So Dad is like, you're gonna go get my kid's knife. Go down in there. Into the
Hmm.
octopus. You get his knife right now. Go.
Hmm.
So the jackal tries to escape, and Wally tackles him.
Good.
So the octopus has retreated to the bottom of the tank and watches the tank cleaning human swim down. Sledge is the guy who takes care of him, so normally he doesn't
Mhm.
mess with him. So the jackal shows um, Wally and Dad to Cheyenne, where he is, and Dad forces the jackal into the locker.
Nice.
So they see the social worker again, who's pleased that the children are in school, but with no job for Sheldon, she's like, we have to take the kids.
No.
Yeah. So Hortense takes the kids back, and Edgar and Dad argue about the kids and whether or not Dad should take another one of Edgar's elixir of life. Um,
Mm.
so Wally punches one of the other orphans in the stomach for insulting them. When they're back there, he's just like, they go to insult him, and he's like, I'm done with you, and just punches him.
Love that.
So the police go to the bus station to get the kidnapper.
Hmm.
They open the locker, and inside is a small lady who cannot speak English.
What?
And the police are like, I don't think this is the right person. Something has happened. So they're like,
Yeah.
okay, and they let her go. Once outside, the jackal strips his disguise and walks away.
Okay.
Mhm. That's 6.
Just okay. That's it?
That's it.
What a wild ride.
Absolutely wild. I can't remember. I thought I wrote it down, but I think the octopus ends up eating Sledge. Maybe. Maybe
Maybe.
not. Maybe he just watched
50-50.
him. I right. The octopus just got like beaten up, so I wouldn't blame him if he was like, "No, I'm going to kill you." So
Yeah.
cannot blame in that situation,
Job risk, I guess.
right? I would not be a fan of working with a giant man-eating octopus, but okay,
Yeah. Not for me.
no,
But that was the books.
that was
That
5
was
and
them.
6. Next one is 7 and 8. Those are the last
Ugh,
two.
I'm excited.
Yes,
But
so
I
good.
guess we'll see you guys in 2 weeks with the
Yes,
last two, and it'll be Halloween.
woo!
I'm so excited.
It's so good,
But
so
we will
good.
catch you guys in the next chapters. Make sure to find us at Novel Nostalgia Pod on pretty much all the things, or check out our website at novelnostalgiapod.com. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.